Today we will discuss workflows. In Smartbox we have a workflow feature. The workflow feature is designed to streamline and automate various business processes through customizable templates. These templates can be combined to create workflows tailored to specific information requests or other business needs. Today we will run through an existing workflow and see how it correlates with our business needs and what it achieves. First, we will head to the Workflows dashboard. You can do this by hovering over Smartbox.ai on your left and selecting the Workflows dashboard. On the Workflows dashboard, you can create a ticket which will correspond with a workflow. Within that ticket, you will construct the workflow and achieve the information that you are trying to gather via the different templates and different methods of data collection. We have a workflow here called SAR request, which we'll run through to showcase what you can achieve with a complete workflow. As you can see, this workflow has been completed. However, we will go back to the beginning and look at the first initial stages with this workflow. So upon receiving a request for a DSAR, this triggers our DSAR request workflow, which sends an email back to the recipient thanking them for submitting a request. Upon sending this return response, there's also an internal notification. This internal notification creates a box into Smartbox labeled 00018 DSAR. This internal notification triggers the internal user to begin the DSAR process. The first stage of the DSAR process will be then to collect the data from the data collection source. In this instance, we are using SharePoint. You can have different types of search queries for different types of metrics. In this instance, we can see that data was imported by Nabil. The next stage of our workflow is to verify identification. So we send an ID check email to the user for a complete ID verification. We can see when the user visited the link and when the form was completed. We can see the results of the form via the next stage. We can see the information that they uploaded, their numbers, their names and emails to make sure it corresponds with the initial request and the information that we have on them. We also have a signature. Upon receiving this request, we require internal managerial approval to review the previous stages and make sure everything is up to standard and we can begin with the DSAR. As we can see, we have the go-ahead by our manager and we have a signature. This will then begin the next phase of the workflow, which will be to return an internal notification to the internal user stating all previous stages have been completed in terms of the identity verification, the manager approval, and now it's time to begin on the DSAR itself. We can see from the final stages the packaging has been done in terms of including all the files redacted in one format and the information has been packed up. We can also see that the information was sent via this email with a link. We can also see when the link was visited. And then we also have a full deliverable record of what occurred throughout our workflow. We can see the requester, the processor, the request process, and all the different stages it went through and the timestamps associated to those stages. We can see the data that was delivered and the processing activity. We can also see the files, types and format, and we can see this information was delivered and sent to the requester. We can also see the time frame that it was conducted in, and we can also see the stage. Let's go back. And we can also see the stage in which the ticket is in, what progress it is in, what stage the box is in, what day of the time frame they are in, when the ticket was opened, what workflow that is being conducted, which box is associated to the workflow, and we can see the current status of the workflow.